Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw Venom. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the top part of the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a cup, a bowl, or anything else with a circular edge. Far down below the circle, make a small mark for the first part of the guide for the lower jaw. Pay attention to the placement of this mark. If you draw it too close to the circle, the head will be too short. Now connect the small mark to the sides of the circle to complete the guide for the lower jaw. The shape of this line should be similar to a big letter V. Now draw a long vertical line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. Draw the vertical line in the middle so that it divides the head into two equal sides. Make a small mark near the middle of the construction line to help you place the guides for the eyes. Now draw a line that slopes up to the top left side of the head for the first part of the eye. From the small mark, draw a line that slopes down into the left for the lower edge of the eye. Now connect the lines on the left side using a long curved line to finish the guide for the first eye. On the right side of the vertical construction guide, draw the guide for the other eye the same way. First, draw a long line that slopes up for the top edge of the eye. At the bottom, draw a shorter line that slopes to the lower right side for the bottom edge of the eye. Then close off the shape of the eye on the right side using a long curved line. Notice how the lines in the middle form a big X across the vertical line. Near the bottom, make a small mark for the first part of the open mouth. Now connect the small mark to the circle at the top using long curved lines to finish the guide for the open mouth. These lines should follow the curvature of the jaw. Starting on the vertical construction guide, draw a long wavy line as a guide for the tongue. You can draw this line as long or as short as you'd like. The longer you make this line, the bigger the tongue will be. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Use the triangular shape on the left side as a guide to draw the first eye. Above the tip in the middle, draw a small spike-like shape for the inner corner of the eye. Now follow the top edge of the initial guide, but make the line wavier as you darken it. The top tip of the eye should be thin and pointy. Darken the bottom edge of the shape, but make the line wavier than the initial guide too. The bottom part of the eye should be more curved than the initial guideline. Darken the left edge too and make it wavier than the initial guide. Now use the shape on the right as a guide to draw the other eye the same way. In the middle, draw a small spike-like shape for the inner corner of the eye. Then follow the path of the initial guide but make the lines wavier as you darken them. Make the top tip of the eye thin and pointy. Sketch lightly at first, and when you get the shapes right, darken the lines. The bottom edge of the eye should be more curved than the initial guide. You can draw this eye slightly different than the eye on the left. The two eyes don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Below the eyes, draw a wavy horizontal line for the top edge of the open mouth. The middle section of this line should curve up like a small hill. The sides of this line should curve downward. The overall shape of this line should follow the bottom edges of the eyes. Below the middle section of the mouth, draw a short wavy line for the gum line. Now draw a series of short spike-like shapes under the gums for the top row of teeth. Each tooth should be similar to a long letter V. Draw the teeth directly over the edge of the initial circle. The top edges of the teeth should curve along the gums. Continue to draw more teeth on the sides of the mouth. The teeth on the sides should be smaller than the teeth in the middle. The teeth should be thin and pointy, don't draw them too wide. Don't draw the teeth on the sides too high up along the mouth. Now use the wavy line below the teeth as a guide to draw the tongue. Extend the line farther to the left. To the right, draw a line that's parallel to the guideline for the top edge of the tongue. Draw this line very close to the guide on the right side. The tip of the tongue should be thin and pointy. Draw a line along the bottom of the guide for the lower edge of the tongue. The tongue should be thick at the base and then it should gradually get thinner toward the right side. Add an extra short line at the bottom for the base of the tongue. Darken the line below the tongue to create the bottom edge of the open mouth. Don't overlap the tongue as you darken this line. Now draw a series of small spike-like shapes along the line for the bottom row of teeth. Keep the shapes of the teeth thin and pointy. Extend the line for the tongue so that it touches the teeth. The teeth on the sides should be smaller than the teeth in the middle. Don't overlap the tongue as you draw the teeth on the right side. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the head. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the head. Make the top part of the head a bit flatter than the initial circle. Make the sides of the head slightly thinner than the initial circle. In the middle, curve the lines outward to create the muscles on the jaw. The space between the mouth and the edge of the jaw should be thin. Make the bottom edge slightly flatter than the initial guide. Don't overlap the tongue as you darken the line for the jaw on the right side. Now go over the final lines with a pen, a marker, or any other type of permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up so that the video won't be too long. Take your time and be careful when you ink your drawing to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. And now color your drawing. Color the entire head black, but leave a few sections on the left side blank for highlights. Color lightly at first and gradually build up to darker colors. Color the highlights on the left side blue. Use brown and red for the inside of the mouth and the tongue. Color lightly in the middle of the tongue for highlights. Color the gums pink. And that's it for Venom. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit EasyDrawingTutorials.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.